Okay, looks like we're live, or not live, recording here. This is gonna be for YouTube, for YouTube. So this is my 99 Necro. We're in ladder season 4. I'm pretty much gonna make this video and then put him up, and we're gonna be doing a giveaway for this guy. So we'll go into lobby first here, right? If we look on the ladder, I'm number 62 on the ladder, right? I think page 5. Yeah, so we're 99, we're page 5, number 62, and we're Necromancer number 2, right? So we're going to be giving this character away. We're going to be doing it on my Twitch channel. It's Tams TV. No numbers or anything, just Tams TV. I'm not sure when we'll be doing the giveaway, in the next maybe day or two. It's a full necro, just all the gear and everything that got me to 99. Got me a decent little ladder rank. So we'll go into a game here. I'm over on EU server right now because I did some trades with some folks. So there might be a little bit of a lag getting into a game or something. I'm normally America's player, right? I don't know why we got in the stash. Okay, so the Iron Golem isn't nothing special. I was just using a bunch of just random uniques. I found bone snaps and shit, IK mauls, whatever. It's kind of random shit. The move is to use Insight on your Iron Golem, and then you use an Infinity on the Merc. I tried that, and my Golem kept dying, so I didn't really want to waste time farming up just four socket bases and just keep remaking Insights and stuff. So I just used him for kind of whatever, whatever junk uniques nobody wanted in a cows or something, or a magic item. I identify like an ogre maul or something, throw it down, and just random, right? He's just kind of a meat shield. It would work way better if we got into having Insights and then having an Infinity on the Merc, right? That's kind of the go-to strat for him. But we were kind of in the middle of the ladder race, and I didn't want to waste time farming all this extra stuff up, so he just became, whatever. There's actually a pretty good running joke with this character about Tams only makes Iron Golems out of Enigmas and stuff. That never happened, but it was a good, pretty funny joke that we had going for a while. Some people believed it during the race. Anyway, so the build is, your 1-point wonders. I got one in Skelly Mastery, one into Ray Skelly, one into Skelly Mage, one into Revive, one into Clay Golem, one into Blood Golem, one into Iron Golem, one into Summon Res, and then I put 15 into Golem Mastery, right? That was kind of later. That's like a dump stat, right? We'll get into that in a minute. This is your main tree, right? Poison and Bone, right? So one into Teeth, one into Bone Armor, one into Bone Wall. You could go down one into Bone Prison. I actually kind of regret not doing that during the ladder, because Bone Prison is ridiculously OP, man. You can trap bosses, you can trap mobs. The real play, I think, is to trap your friends in there, kill the mob, and then you can run around and get all the loot while all your buddies are stuck in there, especially early on when no one has enigmas, right? I think that's the move. No, I'm just kidding, man. You probably shouldn't ever do that, but like in general, Bone Prison is really, really strong, right? Like especially like on the start of a ladder or something where everyone's got bad gear and stuff. Like you can trap bosses in there. Your friends aren't dying. They're probably killing a lot better than you are. Your Hammerdins, your assassins and stuff. You're there for pretty much a support kind of role. We'll get into that when we get into curses. That your curses are just based, dude. Those curses are just badass, man. And it brings a lot to your party, especially when everyone has bad fucking gear, right? So I would recommend a point into Bone Prison. I didn't do that This is way later when I respec to Poison Nova, right? I leveled up mostly as a Bone Spear kind of build, and I absolutely took Bone Prison then. Even later on, when you respec, I would still recommend 1 point into Bone Prison because it's that strong. It's fucking great to have, right? So you got 1 into Teeth, 1 into Bone Armor, 1 into Bone Wall. I recommend 1 into Bone Prison. I put 16 into Corpse Explosion. For a long time I had only 10 points into Corpse Explosion, and that was fine. So the deal with this is you always do the 70 to 120% of corpse life as damage, right? It's split in half. It's half fire damage and half physical damage. Okay, this is your main event here, right? Like you kill things, fish for your first corpse, and then you blow shit up, right? Like Corpse Explode is so good, man. 1 point into Corpse Explode still gives you that juicy 70 to 120% corpse, the corpse's life pool, like total as damage, right? The more points you put into it, the bigger the radius gets. I got into 10 points for sure, and then I started putting some more points into it to get the radius bigger. I got to 16 points. My Corpse Explosion felt really huge. I felt that was enough for me. You could max that out at 20 if you want. Like, that's not a bad option either. Go all the way to 20. You can Corpse Explode where the golem is, and you're freaking hitting the merc up there or something even farther away, you know? So like the radius gets really big, and that thing hits like a Mack truck, man. Especially in like players 8 hell cows and stuff, you know, something with a lot of life. That's better for you actually. It makes your Corpse Explode do more damage, you know. It's bigger life pools, or players 8, you're just wrecking things, right? But sometimes you got to have a little help to get that first corpse, right? So you max out Bone Dagger, or a Poison Dagger, excuse me. It just synergizes. So you put your 20 into Poison Dagger, 20 into Poison Explosion, and then 20 into Poison Nova, right? Poison Nova gets 10% per level for both Poison Dagger and Poison Explosion, right? So it all just synergizes into your Poison Explosion. So you basically go all your 1 point wonders, and then I went into Golem Mastery, do your 1 points into this, your little survivability stuff, and then your damage you max out, right? Then your curses. All of these I just went 1 point into everything. So 1 into that, 1 into that, 1 into that, 1 into that. So I guess I should explain that. Amplified damage you use, right? That's part of your, I guess, rotation, I guess, kind of, right? Like rotations probably aren't really a thing in this game compared to, you know, if you're WoW players or something, right? But it kind of is, sort of, with the Poison Nova Necro, right? So amplified damage is something that you're going to use. You definitely want to point into that. You get a bunch of, you know, plus into Poison and Bone skills and Necro skills and stuff later on, you know, with the right gear. So like 1 point should be enough. Gives you a huge, you know, radius, right? 1 into weekend, that's excuse me. I'm still tired from the grind to 99. I finished it up last night very early, like, I don't know, like 2 in the morning or something, 1 in the morning. And that was my first real good amount of sleep after we finished that. So I'm still really tired. So amp damage 1, weekend is just everything else is to get down to lower res, right? So your prereqs. So weekend, Terror, Iron Maiden, Life Tap, Decrepify, all those are just 1 point. Decrepify you might use on like Bale or something. I was running with a Fire Sork that did a lot of damage, and we'd Decrepify Bale if we were killing Bale, so that he wouldn't, you know, he teleports around, does a bunch of crazy shit, right? He moves around and stuff. We Decrepified him so that the meteor could hit from the Fire Sork, and he'd sit in the fire and stuff and blow himself up, right? So like Decrepify has its uses, but I mainly only use that for Bale. Okay, and then lower res I use constantly. That's probably one of the best things that the Necro brings, especially if you got you know, your Mosaics running around, your Nova Sorks. Everyone's playing a Nova Sork these days, right? Or a Mosaic, right? So you just run around and lower res and debuff for those guys and let them blow shit up even harder. And when you get to, like 2 or 3 Novus Orcs around and you lower res for them, they're happy and they are just absolutely pumping, right? Because they're gonna have their infinities and stuff. They're gonna have, you know, their griffins or what, you know, all their negative lightning res stuff, and you're just adding more to that. As far as I know, everything I've read says that this stacks with an infinity, right? So like, was it conviction or whatever? Um, but there's like a cap, right, on how much negative res you can give a mob. I forget the exact amount right now off the top of my head. I've heard something like 100, negative 110 or 115 or something is the cap. Anyway, lower res, like everybody loves you when they see the little purple dots above the mob's heads, right? Because you're lower resing, and everybody, like, no one's gonna argue with that. If anything, people will get grumpy with you if you're not using lower res enough. So like, you just spam the shit out of that. You're going around giving all of your killers a more efficient, faster kill. You know what I mean? In turn, because they're killing faster, you're getting corpses faster, so you can help corpse explode shit and stuff. You know. So that's pretty much the build. So when it comes down to filler points, after you get, like, you want to max all of these out for sure. You want to get your corpse explode to 10 at least, and then you've got a couple options there. Everything else you can start pumping into Golem Mastery. You can finish out Corpse Explode to 20 if you want. Or you can pump a bunch of points into lower res, are my 3 recommendations there. So I went above 10, right? I put 6 points into Corpse Explosion, and I also put, you know, like 14 points into Golem Mastery to try and give myself a stronger Golem that wouldn't die. And it made him pretty fucking tanky. So you kind of have some choices there, right? And it's up to you to decide what you're doing. If you're playing real solo, if you're playing, you know, with a bunch of like barbarians or something, so you want to maybe use amp damage more in that situation, because like physical damage, right? Instead of like lower res. So like it depends, like the composition or the group you're playing with. It depends what you're kind of doing. That will help aid you in your decision of like what your dump skill is going to be after you get, like, you know, all your poison and get down into 1 point into all your reses that, or curses that you need and stuff, right? So that's the build. Okay. The stats are, I can't even remember. I think I put some into strength because I got my war travs before I got my enigma. Okay. So like enigma obviously gives plus the strength based on character level, a lot of strength, right? So like I could maybe like respec again and not have to put as many points into strength or something. Or maybe I did do that and respec down to after I got enigma. I can't quite remember. But it looks like we got base 55 strength. We didn't. I know for a fact we did not put anything into dex. We did not put anything into energy, and we put pretty much everything or almost everything into vitality. So the way it works is you get enough points into strength that you can wear like your monarch and stuff, right? That's your probably your highest strength requirement item. Because you're gonna, this build I used the spirit, right? Because I was going for FCR instead of like survivability, I guess. So you put enough points into strength to use all your gear. You shouldn't really need to put anything into dexterity. Put points into dexterity if you need dex for some strange item or something. Your strength and your dex, you just put enough points barely into it so you can equip your gear. Then everything else goes into vitality forever. Just always vitality, right? You can see, before we CTA or anything, we're almost at 9k poison nova damage, just base, right? 8900 to 91, and that's without like doing our CTA and stuff, where you get another plus skill and stuff that puts us up a little bit higher, right? So yeah, like we'll go over the gear, and then I'll show you kind of the play style of it, and show you kind of the like sort of like rotation, I guess, sort of thing that I was talking about, right? We're on normal right now because I was just jumping in a game real quick. I'll show you the resistances. The resistances, because I went the way I went, are not that great actually. So you could drop your spirit and get like a homunculus with an in it or something, and that could pump your resistances a lot actually. Like I moved them over to a mule, but I do have a homunculus that'll give away with this in case people are interested in trying that, and then I'll give you away like an rune with it, you know, or maybe I'll get a socket done and just put an rune in it or whatever in case people want to mess around with that. So like that will be with the giveaway as well. So the gear. We went to hell now. Okay, so like my resistance is nothing's even capped, but we're in hell. Like you get a -100, right? So nothing's like capped. A lot of this is not even close to being capped, right? So he definitely needs some more. Like this could get completely removed for another +5 all res small charm, right? All of these really could get, like, we could get rid of them if we had some more all res small charms. We have some, but just not full, right? So we got an all res 5 faster hit recovery, and then we have an all res 5, an all res 4, and then the rest are just like 10 poison res, 11 poison res, 5 poison res, cold, 11 cold, 5 lightning, and a faster hit recovery thing. This could get switched to a skiller. Okay, so we just got like 10 poison res, 4 all res, 5 all res, 11 poison res, 5 faster hit, 5 poison, 5 faster hit, 5 all res. That's a really nice one. 11 cold res, 1 dex, 5 lightning res, and then 5 faster hit recovery. And then we got 25 life, 25 poison res. Pretty good because we're running poison thunder charm, right? 12 faster hit recovery, 28 poison res. +1, poison bone skiller, faster hit, 12% faster hit recovery. Another poison bone skiller, 6 strength. Poison bone skiller, 20 to life. That's a pretty good one. And then perfect sunder, poison sunder charm, -70. Okay, so the way sunder charms work is it'll break poison immunity on anything that's poison immune, right? They'll still be resistant, they'll still have a high resistance, but it breaks the immunity so that you can injure and hurt things with poison resistance, right? So like your Nova will work on them. It might not work the best because they'll still have high resistances, but it breaks the immunity. And then the poison resist is a -70%, okay? That is, it rolls between -70% and -90%. The higher, the worse. Okay, because this is only applying to the negative. This gives you a negative to your poison resistance. So if you look down here at poison resistance, right? If I pick the Sunder up, suddenly I'm at 75 poison res, right? So this is giving me a -70 to my poison resistance as a trade-off that I can break immunity to poison. So it's pretty needed, but it borks your poison resist. Alternatively, you can also run a physical sunder and a fire sunder, and that helps with your corpse explode damage because corpse explode is half physical damage and half fire damage based off of the life total of the corpse, like the life pool of the corpse that you use, right? So you could run 3 sunder charms and run, a poison sunder, a fire sunder, and a physical sunder, and then you would never have anything that is like completely stopping parts of your damage. I didn't find that necessary. I think that's kind of bait, because like that's a lot of resistances to be messing with and to struggle with and to work with. It felt like a lot where we're already kind of lacking in other resistances and stuff. So like that just felt like a lot, right? I'd rather go for like some skillers or something. But that is an option, okay? And then 3 faster run walk and 7 to mana. This, I think I was holding that for somebody else. I think I was holding that for one of my Javazon friends because they want faster run walk and stuff, and we're still like in ladder and stuff, and like I don't know, kind of early into ladder, a little past 2 weeks, I guess, where like people still they're looking for stuff. So I think I was actually just holding this for a Javazon buddy or something. You could also remove your Tome of Identify completely. You don't necessarily need to carry those around. Or maybe don't even need to carry around a Tome of Town Portal. You might just put some TP in your belt or something, and you could get 4 more slots and fill them with more all res or something, right? Our Annie is a 16, 19, 7. It's not a bad one. Obviously, it's not a perfect one, but I think we just got a roll on this or something. I was just trying to get as much plus to all res as possible, to be honest. The attributes were not really my focus. It just so happened those rolled a 16, and that's good enough for me for this situation, right? You could upgrade to a 20/20 if you got one or whatever. Obviously, that's ideal. This just had a really good all res roll, so I just kept it, right? And then this Necro Torches are usually pretty cheap on like JSP or on Tradery or something. Not a lot of people play Necros, so the gear is a little bit easier to get for like Necro specific stuff usually, and it's a little bit cheaper if you're trading with people. It's not worth as much usually. So I got this torch for pretty cheap on JSP as I was leveling through the ladder. So +3 Necro skills, right? It's a Necro torch, obviously. 14 all attributes, and again, just a 20 all res. Like I'm really going for the all res here because our res was like kind of bad, So that just worked for what I needed it for, right? So the next thing is Death's Web, right? This is probably one of the most important things to make Nova build work because it gives that negative poison resistance, right? Just in the weapon. It's kind of like your infinity if you're like self-wielding infinity. It's kind of like that, right? I guess. It gives things a negative. So it rolled a negative 45 on it. We had it un-ID'd and we rolled a pretty good one. +2 poison bone skills is good, great. And it rolled a negative 45 on the resistance, which is fine. And then I put a 5/5 facet in it, which pushed it up to 50. Let me, off the top of my head, I can't even think. How it all rolls on this. I thought, yeah, okay, so it rolls 1 to 2 for the skills. It rolls 7 to 12 life after each kill, 7 to 12 mana after each kill, 40 to 50 enemy poison, negative enemy poison res, right? So it rolled 11 mana after each kill, which is great. 7 is the worst you can get for the life, which, whatever, I guess. And then the negative 45 poison res is, at least middle of the road for something that's a very rare item, right? And then we put a 5/5 poison facet in it, which pushes it up to as if it rolled perfect negative poison res without a facet. You know what I mean? So like 55 is perfect for the negative poison, like that's with a facet, right? So like getting to 50 makes it as if we rolled a perfect negative poison res without a facet, right? So like that makes it pretty good, makes it feel pretty good. And then the +2 to poison and bone skills is always great. And then it rolled +11 to mana, which is pretty solid, So decent Death Web. That's kind of the thing that made me decide to go poison Nova for the ladder. I was probably going to stay like a bone spear build, but we got a good Death's Web, so Like, you have to make a Poison Nova Necro if you get a freaking Death Web, man. Then we gotta, trade it up for a 5/5 facet, Poison facet. Put that in there, right? Next is Trang's Gloves. I really don't think you can get away from these unless you find something real crazy. +2 curses is helpful because lower res, right? But that 20 FCR, 25 to poison skill damage, and some cold resist, and obviously defenses, whatever. But it's got some good res on it. It gives you more poison damage and 20 FCR, and then +2 to curses. Excellent. Trang's Gloves are a banger. I'd recommend them for sure. Ring, 10 FCR ring, plus the minimum damage, plus to attack rating, +8 to strength. Helped, I guess, kind of more early on. I think I got these rings pretty early, and then it has 4 cold res, 4 lightning, 9 fire, and 4 poison. So pretty much a +4% all res at least, and then the fire it pumps up a little bit more. Really, really decent. The more any res you can get, the better. An arachnid mesh. I found this, and yeah, I mean, +1 to all skill, 20 faster cast rate, slows target by 10, 94 enhanced defense, increase maximum mana 5%. It's an arachnid smash, right? You're always gonna want one of these. That FCR and all skill is just banger, right? Arachnid smash is great. Another rare ring, 10 FCR, +2 attack rating, +2 to energy, +6 all res, and 1 mana after each kill. Pretty decent little ring. Some all res, got your 10 FCR, and then plus mana to each kill is always feels good, man. War Trap boots, right? These are pretty straightforward. You could change these out for, rare tri-res boots, or I don't know, maybe some like alders even or something, right? I think alders gives like fire res, right? But that some res somewhere is better than no res anywhere on boots, right? Or whatever, right? You could get what are they, sandstorm treks? Those are really good because those have like poison res. I want to say like a big poison res, right? Sandstorm treks are probably what I would go with if I would have found some. But we got War Travs instead. Solid boots, 25 faster run walk, enhanced damage, 10 to strength, 10 to vitality, and they rolled pretty great on the magic find, 47% out of 50, right? So I was like, all right, we got some more Travs. Let's rock those. Why not? Enigma, of course. We got a Spirit. Just put it in a Monarch. Plus, it's a spirit, right? +2 all skills. We re-rolled it, I think, until we got 35 FCR, and then it rolled kind of low on the mana, right? Like if you get like plus over 100, that's really really good for mana, right? So it rolled an 89 for mana, not the greatest, but we just did it for the 35 FCR, right? Additionally, like I said, you could probably switch this out for like a homunculus with an rune in it, and that'll give like, I don't know, +50 something all res or whatever, something crazy. Especially with an rune in it, right? The Amulet is +2 poison and bone skills, 19 FCR, +7 to dex, 17 to mana, 10 mana regen, and 28 fire res. A friend of mine got lucky crafting this that was playing the ladder with me. He knew I was doing the race. He was generous enough to hook me up with it. I also, do a lot of giveaways, a lot of helping people out. So like I helped him out a bunch, Pay it forward to your friends. That'll get you real far in the game, and I think in life in general. Is we gotta help each other out here. So I do a lot of helping each other, or helping friends out. And in return, when it was my turn to do like a race or something, I had some friends there to help me out, and just one of my buddies got real lucky with a good roll. Knew I was a necro, knew I could use it, so he paid it forward to me, man. Banger amulet. My buddy Mata 11K, like huge shout out to him, man. And then our circlet here. Bonehorn circlet. Pretty banger. 2 necro skills, 20 FCR. Had some poison damage over 2 seconds. And then we punched a hole in it, put a 5/5 facet in it, right? So it gave more negative to poison enemy or enemy poison res, plus 5 poison skill damage. And it had some strength on it and stuff. Another friend of mine that I was playing with found that, knew I was doing a necro, kind of traded with me. It's a druid buddy of mine. Shout out to my buddy Trapman Do. He rolled a druid with me on ladder, and so we were constantly, we were kind of a duo, right? We were constantly trading gear back and forth. He found just a super awesome banger circlet and hooked me up. Huge shout out to him. Me and him were doing the race, pretty much damn holding hands, right? Like we were just did pretty much as much of it together as we could. We were just a duo that pumped. He did a fire druid, and I did a poison Nova necro. So he ended up finding this. Just really lucky, really great for this build. So we got a 5/5 facet in the helmet, and we got a 5/5 facet in the Death's Web. In the helmet, you could get rid of the 5 facet and put an rune in that as well, and that just juice your resistances up. In fact, that's probably what I would do instead of the 5/5 facet. I went a 5 facet because I just had access to another one, and I didn't have an rune at the time. So we might change that around, test some numbers before we give it away, and decide what we want to do there. Thinking back on it, I would probably should have put an rune in it, and that would have just helped my resistances a bunch, right? So that's that gear. And then on swap, this is the crown jewel, man. I found this base, the military pick base, very early into the ladder, and I was like, that's my CTA base, and I saved it. And everyone was like, that's not a desirable base. That's we shouldn't put it in that. You should put it in a flail or whatever, I got access to the Ohm, Mal, and Ist runes. Didn't have a flail around. This was decided yeah, I should do it in a flail. Didn't have a flail around by the time I got the runes. I was like, you know what? I've held on this military pick the whole ladder so far. Let's roll it in that. Rolled it, and it rolls a 6/6/4, man. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, dude. Easy clap, fucking one and done, I say, right? Right? If it ain't P, it ain't me. No, I'm just kidding. It was just a very lucky roll, man. Yeah, 6/6/4. There's not much else to say about that. Banger call to arms, and then I got a less desirable spirit on this, a 30 FCR spirit with 91 mana. Also still not that great, right? This is entirely to get the +2 skills, and then that adds to the bow or whatever. Our bow is at 13. It'll be at 14 because you command first, right? So it puts it at 14. That could change if I got a 1 higher faster cast rate amulet, right? That's a tall order. This thing's banger. A 220 is always going to be really expensive, right? Especially with 10% mana regen on it and things as well. It's going to be really expensive. I don't know why the connection interrupted there. For EU, that's why, right? Here, let me get this loaded back up. Okay, so a 220. If I got a 220, I could potentially remove a ring and put an SOJ on, and that gives you another plus skill, right? And then at that point, if I were to do that, I would almost have I'd almost have to put an rune in this, right? And then at that point, I would probably have to stick with a monarch instead of the homunculus, because you're investing into such an expensive amulet that it's just for 1 more FCR, and it's to maintain your 125 FCR so that you can cast the fastest, right? So at that point, like you'd probably just have to keep the spirit. Otherwise, you're so invested into this amulet, and then you switch to a homunculus, and then like you still aren't even close to your cast rate or whatever. So you got an expensive amulet for kind of for nothing. Like maybe not for nothing, but like you know what I mean. It's scuffing your cast rate. So at that point, like you got to keep your spirit on. I think. That's pretty much all the gear, man. So now we'll just kind of go into the rotation or the play style, right? And so we keep our bone armor up pretty much all the time. So what I do, I just hold it down, and it's got a pretty fast cast rate, right? So you battle command twice. So you battle command once, which gives you another +1, that puts it at 14. You battle command again, right? So I think is how this works. So you refresh it, right? So you're casting it from a 13 to up to a 14, which just gives you more time on it, right? And then you do your bow, so that you get a rank 14 bow instead of a 13, right? So then we go back to this. You make sure your bone armor is up. This might be kind of laggy, right? So your minions are like meat shields. You cast lower res, they're gonna hit pretty hard. It's a little bit different when you get into terror zones and stuff, right? Because they're so you lower res, get their resistance down, hit them with a poison nova until you get your corpse. Then you can corpse explode, right? The idea is that you lower res, you poison nova. By the time you get your first corpse, you can corpse explode one time, and it's blowing up the stuff that just got like rotted down from the poison, right? So like the poison nova is ticking everything down to like ideally like half health or less. Your merc is going to help you kill at least one of them. That the poison gets them down to half health, so the thing the merc is fighting is at least at half health, right? Or lower, and then the rest, and then he's single target, right? So the rest of the pack is just kind of getting whittled down. And then you can just ideally hit one corpse explode, or two, just real quick little ones, or one real quick little one, and it blows up the stuff that's at half health from the poison nova. If it's something really, really strong, like players 8 cows, you'd lower res, you'd nova, you'd switch over to amp damage, and then you would blow them up. And the amp damage pumps the physical damage of the corpse explode. Like that, right? And see, I blew this guy up here, and it blew that guy all the way back there up. That was even hitting this guy. This one up here that I was exploding was hurting this guy back there, right? So you want to like lower res, poison nova, get that to tick down a little bit. Your minions will be fighting, and then you can switch over to amp damage, and then you corpse explode. You can also revive. You could do skellies or something as well, I guess, but I like revive. And how many can we get? 15 or 14? 14 of them, right? So you can have 14 little meat shields out, right? And those are helping with the shit that you poisoned. They're helping with things, the mobs hitting your minions instead of you, which is a survivability thing, and they're helping hitting things that you're poisoning. They're helping kill faster. Just anything that's damaging something is helping kill faster to some extent, right? Even if like you're not fully invested into like being a summoner or something, those guys are doing something special. You know, they're doing something for you. Meat shielding or at least hitting to do something, right? Just every little bit helps. Um, that's pretty much it. That's the build. We're at a point probably. See, I'm at 92 to 9500 poison damage after I bow and CTA and stuff, right? We're at a point for the most part where you can just, you know, you might get a little champ guy. No, even he died. Where you can just lower res, poison nova. I keep my poison nova on my like right click usually. And you can kind of just do this, man. You stop long enough to cast your like poison nova. And that's it. Like we're in the pit, right? So the things in the pit doesn't have a lot of health. To be fair. But that's the way we like it. You don't even have to corpse explode down here, right? So that's really good because you can have your buddy who's a horker come in and he can hork shit, you know? That's one thing about this build that can be kind of bad and not so plays well with others, I guess, is like if you have a horker, dude, or if you have a trap assassin, they want to, you know, they cast the corpse explode stuff too, which I guess it doesn't matter who really does it, right? But sometimes it feels kind of bad if you can't corpse explode because it feels like you're not doing a whole lot in a group sometimes. Like you really are because you're bringing lower res, and that's just way bigger than you really think it is, you know? It's massive. But sometimes it feels like you're not really casting any damage stuff, and that can feel kind of bad sometimes, you know? You're definitely there as like a support class, so. Oh, I didn't even see that down here. Come on, man. And, yeah. People start seeing these little blue dots or purple dots above mobs' heads. They start really liking having you around, man. So, like, make sure you get your lower res on stuff. Keep up with your assassins, keep up with your sorceresses, and help them out, man. You know, people love to have you around when you start doing stuff like that. This is a very, very fun build in a group. Sometimes you get a really fast group and it doesn't feel like you're able to keep up a corpse explode enough, or that you're not able to really poison nova enough. But you're bringing that lower res and you guys will fly through shit, man. I think that's, oh, the last thing we didn't cover is our merc. So, I got him an Andy's face with a RAL in it to offset the negative fire res, right? It's got, you know, rolled 9 life leech, pretty solid. That's one of the best masks you can give to your merc. Andy's is good, plus the strength, plus 28 to strength is pretty damn good. So like that, you know, it's a fan favorite on a merc for a reason, you know. We got him a fortitude and an ancient armor. I don't even friggin' remember what a fortitude rolls off the top of my head right now, so I can't even tell you if it's as good or bad. Let me see. What's this roll? All res. I rolled pretty poor on the all res. 25 to 30. Rolled a 26. So not great, right? But it's It's better than not having one, right? It still gives him the resistances he needs in hell to be good, to be Gucci. And then I rolled a 17 insight. Now, like I said, I think the real play is to put an infinity on the merc, an iron golem in insight. But my iron golem was dying a bunch when I put him in an insight, and I kept having to roll insights and stuff, and I just didn't want to keep running around finding like 4-socket bases. And so the runes were not hard to find, right? Like I got a bunch of Ral, Tear, runes. That's not a problem. But the bases can kind of be a problem sometimes, you know. And we're in the middle of like grinding and trying to get to 99 as quickly as I could, right? So like I just didn't have time to mess with that. There's obviously got to be something I was doing wrong to have the golem die a bunch. Maybe we were just kind of going and I wasn't keeping track of him getting cursed or something and hurting himself, you know. Or like I wasn't keeping track of him getting cursed and having amp damage or something. So there's got to be something I wasn't paying attention to. I've heard stuff about like one of my buddies, SOJ, who was kind of the sorceress that did all the teleporting for us and stuff. He said his like second favorite class is a Necro after a Source, or Sork, I guess is how I pronounce it, or a lot of people pronounce it. Um, he he said Necro's his second favorite class after Sork, and he said that there's definitely stuff you got to do to pay attention to the Iron Golem and stuff, especially if you're gonna run him as an Insight, which isn't an expensive thing to run, or it's not an expensive thing to craft rather, but it kind of is if you're gonna be having it die on you every day or something, you know, and then you gotta find a new one to craft and stuff. That can be kind of expensive. If you just roll one good one, or roll a one and then you have to re-roll it a couple times, that's not so bad. But when you gotta keep reviving an Iron Golem as one, that can be much more expensive, right? So like we just went back to an Insight and didn't use the Infinity. I did notice the damage being a lot more crazy with the Infinity on though, like the poison damage and stuff obviously. So that's a thing. Generally you wanna put an Infinity in the Merc's hands and then you Insight your Iron Golem. Because your Iron Golem gets the properties of whatever you make him out of, you know. So like I make him out of, I don't have any in the stash. I make him out of Immortal King's Mauls a lot, because they're usually pretty easy to find. No one really wants them usually. And it's a good one for an Iron Golem actually. Mortal King Stone Crusher, which is 200% enhanced damage, 200% damage to demons, 250% damage to undead, 40% increased attack speed. It's indestructible. I don't think any of that applies to the Golem. I think he can just still be killed. He'll definitely die if you die, right? I don't believe that applies to him though. Like you can't just IK maul him and then he never dies again. Like that's not a thing. As far as I know, I've definitely seen my Iron Golem a few times when he's been in Immortal King's Maul. So like as far as unless something weird is happening to him and he is indestructible, but I don't think that's the case at all. And then he'll have, you know, the Maul rolls 35 to 40% crushing blow, which is always good, and it's always got 2 sockets in it. So I haven't tested it 100%, but like if you make an Iron Golem out of a rune word, he gets, you know, if you make him out of an Insight, he gets the meditation aura and stuff. So I'm inclined to think that if you socket gems or something or runes into the Immortal King's Maul, when you make it into an Iron Golem, he will get the properties of whatever socketed into it in addition to the other stuff, right? I have to think that because that's how rune words work, you know? And he gets the benefits of the rune word and stuff. So, um, I'm inclined to think that, like, if you put shale runes, for example, into the IK Mall and make it into him, as long as it, like, we'd have to look up faster, or the increased attack speed breakpoints and stuff for the golem maybe, or some shit. But as long as it helps get him to the next breakpoint or something, like, probably, like, he will gain the effect of the shales and stuff, or whatever you put in there, like, I don't know. Put runes in there, his resistances might be super crazy or something, like, you know what I mean? So, like, I think he gets the, or what is, no, open wounds on the rune for weapons. So he might, yeah, he might get, 50% chance of open wounds or something if you put him in the IK Mall or something. He should get whatever the socket, whatever you socket into there, right? Put a flawless amethyst, it'll give him more attack rating or something, right? I have to think that because that's exactly how the rune words into an iron golem work. So that's pretty much the build. That's the I didn't really run like shit for. So we got 21 life after each kill. We got 146 MF. We got 10 mana regen. We got 134 faster cast rate. Like I said, if we go to a 220 amulet, then we take off a ring. You know, if we take off a ring, we're at 124%. So we go to a 220 amulet. That gives us our 1 point we need to keep us at the 125 breakpoint, and then we could switch to an SOJ if we needed to. Taking the ring off doesn't scuff our resistances too much compared to what they're already at. They're already pretty low, right? So, faster FCR by 1, and then we get into an SOJ, right? And still maintain our good FCR frames or whatever. And that's, negative 55 to enemy poison resistance from the D-Web and from the other deal here. And plus 35 to poison skill damage. 12 mana after each kill. Not bad. Not too bad. I think we take the poison facet out also, actually. Stick a in there. I think that ends up being the move. We just wanted to try and do as much poison and negative poison res as we could to try that out. Yeah, so that's what I used to get to 99, and that got me to second place on the Necro ladder for Season 4 for Season 4 D2R ladder. And that was, the basic, just like the softcore Lord of Destruction, the main softcore ladder that most people play on, right? So that did the job for me, and the link to my Twitch will be in the description. And we're gonna give all the gear away, this whole thing away, everything that's in his inventory, pretty much. Probably keep his cube. Sorry guys, you have to get your own cube. But yeah, we'll give away an Enigma, Trangs, a D-Web, a Bonehorn, Circlet, the rare headpiece. I'll throw in an rune in case you would want to switch to that. Ami rings, Arak Mesh, War Travs, Spirit. We'll give you the 664 CTA, that Spirit, and we'll throw in 2 runes actually. We'll throw in an potentially if you want to put one in here, and then I'll throw a homunculus in and an rune for that if you want to try that instead of the FCR breakpoints that I have. Also, we'll give away this stuff on the Merc as well. It'll be the whole Necromancer package that I used to get to 99 in Season 4. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. That's pretty much all I got for you. I think I'm going to take a day or two break off of Twitch streaming or gaming too much. Just because I'm going to catch up on some sleep, definitely. It was a real long grind. I'm really happy I did it, but man, that was a tall order. It's a big commitment. So I'm going to take a day or two off from gaming and streaming probably. And then other than that, I pretty much stream on Twitch every day. So we're gonna continue. Like next, I'm gonna make a paladin. I'm gonna probably do a hammered in. I'm gonna set him up to bump so we can get a bunch of people through rushed. Rush people through so they can get into hell, and then I'll level him and I'll be back to regular scheduled programming on the Twitch channel. That will be just to giveaways, helping people out, paying it forward to the community. There's a lot of fun stuff we do over there. We do a bunch of marbles. We give, you might win a marbles and win an Istrun. You might win a marbles and get a unID'd Griffins. You don't know. You know what I mean? Like we just try to do some fun games. We try to help people out. We try to do giveaways. We try to help people kill their D-clones over there. I got people set up that are very trusted, and they won't like steal your fucking Annie charm or anything from you. We're gonna farm up some keys, try and get some torches around, get people some torches. Everyone always needs a sorcerer's torch. Everyone always needs an assassin torch. Everyone wants a pally torch, like some of those more big ticket ones. We're gonna try and get some of those farmed up so we can give those away to people that need them. Maybe an infinity down the road or something. But I just wanted to go over this Necro build, and we're definitely going to do a giveaway of the old Poison Nova Necro. So thanks a lot, guys. That's really all I got for you. And we'll catch you in the next one, man. Have a great day, guys. Bye.